Hello folks, this is Angela from Tarot as Art. It's been a hot minute since I've completed a video. I have returned from Italy for about a month, but I have been so busy in store with readings every day that I don't often get time to do these videos, which do take me a while to think about and sort of organise. So apologies for that. This video will be about my trip to Rome, and in particular with Marco, meeting Marco Benedetti and showcasing some of his decks. Now, Marco has a wonderful hotel in the heart of Rome. If you ever get in contact with him, please ask him about that, because, you know, he doesn't sort of advertise that he's a president of a hotel, but it's a beautiful hotel, which also showcases his tarot decks as well, by the way. But I bought some beautiful decks of him. So let's start at the beginning. And what a gracious host he is. We did catch up with him a couple of times. Let's start at the beginning. And this is not a deck. This is a deck I got from Make Playing Cards during COVID because I got time. And this is part of what brought me back to loving and reading tarot, and sort of let's call it now sort of retiring into reading tarot full time, was the time I had whilst I was working from home to get back into this passion. We won't go into this, but this I love modern decks. I'm not going to hide that. I love the Rider-Waite and I love modern decks. And this modern take on our classic Visconti deck was what I fell in love with. I mean, I hope there's enough light here on this. I don't want the shine. Just move across a bit. We haven't got natural light today because we've got a beautiful spring day in Melbourne. And the light's not great, so I'm using artificial light. So hopefully I'm not getting any shine. I'm not saying that I am. But you can see how he's modernised the lines, taken out all sorts of detail. But we all know it because of the way it looks as the Visconti deck. I mean, look at the blue cape here. And when I say the Visconti deck, of course, for everyone that knows, I'm talking about this one. Now, I'm showcasing this one. I just opened this, actually. I've got the big version of it. I've got the Mondrone. I've got the Sforza. I've got the museum versions. I've got the non-gold back versions. I've got all sorts of versions. I got this from the Visconti Castle in Milan. So when I talk about that, look at these backs, my God. So when I talk about, let me just straighten this out a little bit. When I talk about the Visconti Tarot, this is what I'm talking about. It's, you know, it's at the heart of the Renaissance. It was an aristocratic, obviously, family who had enough money to get artists and artisans to produce these. You can call them fortune-telling cards. You can call them playing games. I don't know what you want to call them. Whatever it is, we all know what they're used for, mostly now, which is tarot. See, there's the beautiful blue. Here it is. I've got my beautiful Venetian. I was just taken aback by the originality. I mean, he says I'm an artisan. I'm not an artist, but look at this deck. And if you do go to the hotel, you will see that his art is on the walls. And it's great to see it like that, near a garden area where he has it there, and highly, highly recommended. But this is where the love affair with sort of his artwork came to be. These are the backs. I love that they're plain and they're just simple. Oh, I can't get this right. I just want you guys not to have any shine. And with the artificial light, you do get that. I can see where the shine is. So I have been meaning for years to edge it. The reason I won't edge it, and I don't think I will, is because it's so white and pristine, right? And I'm just scared I'm going to get runs and things, and it's so perfect. So I probably will end up leaving that. So that's where the love affair began, let's call it. And little did I know that by 2025 I'd be in Rome having a Campari and orange at the back and going through his decks. But anyway, it's hilarious. Now let me start with what my intention was when I went to get the decks. When I sort of reached out to him, there was 2 decks in particular I wanted, right, to buy. You know, we're in Australia, so we're paying a lot for shipping. So I thought, look, if he has a store, how do I know? Maybe it's cheaper for me just to get them there. So the 2 I was thinking about was the Metalli here. And the most recent one, which I saw on Simon's channel, which was the Constantinople Tarot. Now, I guess for me, the Metalli, I just thought I loved the way this looked. It's in a sort of wooden box, right? And he's sort of numbered them here, and he's got his signature. And I just think, you know, these restorations that he does, and that's what they are, they're restorations of these classic decks. And the Metalli, I think, is from the mid-1600s. Of course, I'm not a and it's sort of the way it closes, it's like got a little magnet. I'm not a historic deck person, in that I can't go through all the history of the cards in any detail. But you can see here what's going on. So of course these are all sort of tarocchi in their tradition, the Italian tradition, but I can't explain to you how beautiful these cards are in terms of the back, with that beautiful crest there, and it's sort of folded over in terms of the ends. So you've got this sort of hand, and you've got this beautiful edging, but it's not edging, it's sort of like paper that's been yellow at the back and folded over. Now I don't know how, outside of doing that by hand, you could do it. And if there's one thing I hate doing, I don't know how he does it or what he's using to do it, but here we've got, it's the Baroque era deck. It's the 62 card tarocchino by Bologna's most popular version of the tarot. So apparently, you know, this, I mean, it's just gorgeous. He created a radically new, elegant version of the popular tarocchi deck between 1660 and 1665. And I'll just show you a few of the cards here. I mean, look at the colours. I mean, these are exquisite. Absolutely exquisite. I can't. And I like the idea that they've got this sort of, it's restored where it's not pristine. And I love that. I don't, oh, look, you know, I know there's a lot of deck creators there at the moment who are restoring them sort of in that pristine, using that sort of white, shiny, what I just showed you in the modern deck, which I think it does suit. But they're sort of cleaning the classic decks up and putting them out in those versions, which I just don't think does them. It just takes the vintageness out of them. I mean, when I touch this, I feel like I'm handling a deck from that century and that time. Just this sort of, I don't know, papery. This one feels papery and linen-y at the same time. The wounded angel. God. I'll stop with the devil. Why not? Look at him. Oh, well, look at him. With that serpent and... Sorry. It looks like the devil. I don't know. They're not named. I mean... Yeah. I mean, to me, that's the devil. But it's interesting that he's got a serpent underneath him, because he would be that serpent normally. And he's got the sort of bat wings. And here we are with the angel. Just gorgeous. I don't know what to say. I'm just... You know, it's a privilege to read with these cards. And, I don't know what to say. And the way it's all presented, it's just absolutely beautiful. So that's the Metalli. Bologna, 1650. Restoration, 2024. So that's really what I went for. So I thought, oh, let me try and get that without, you know, in Australia sometimes we pay more for the shipping than the cards themselves. And it happens all the time on all the major platforms if you want anything independent. Not mass market, of course. I mean, of course, mass market, but you can get away with mass market, but not so much. I've got the orangey theme, as you can see, with my nails, and I won't go into that because we're in Halloween now, so we've got that sort of element happening. Here's the Constantinople Tarot. So I guess for me, this has a lot of meaning. Everyone may know that I'm in Australia. I was born in Australia, but my heritage is Greek, and in particular, of course, if we go back in time, my father comes from a Greek island in Corfu, where a lot of the aristocratic families from Constantinople and Byzantium fled to after the Ottoman invasion of that area. So, and if you go to Greece, Constantinople, which is known as Istanbul currently, is still referred to as Constantinople in daily speech when they discuss the capital. So the fact that he called this the Constantinople Tarot is something dear to my heart, because if you ever hear people from Greece talking about Istanbul, they call it Constantinople. Of course, they can't deal with... well, Istanbul is a sort of bastardization of the word, because it was probably how they could pronounce it. The opal at the end being the bull, and Istan is the constant. Anyhow, we won't get into that whole rabbit hole, because it's a rabbit hole for many. And then we can go to the Knights of the Templar and the Holy Grail and all sorts of things that can be existing at the back of the great Hagia Sophia, which is located at the heart of that city. But this was a deck I wanted. Now, on the interesting front, and I don't mean any disrespect to anyone when I talk about that history, but it is what it is. So I told it to you how it's seen by many. This deck here is the Pamela Coleman Smith. This is the Rider-Waite Smith. And Marco said he had no more. He had sold them all. So he decided with a grand gesture of giving me his deck, which he himself, well, I purchased it. Let's get this clear. All my decks were purchased. I just want everyone to understand that. He's a deck creator, and that's the only way I would get the decks. Anyway, so the black edging here is from him. These are the beautiful backs. If you want a complete rundown, I think other people also preview this deck, like Simon. And I guess the Constantinople part of this is the fact that it's got that golden hue running all through it. And it gives it a very sort of for me. Just this a textured appeal that's different from that sort of gilding. I mean, I'm glad I showed everyone the Visconti just before, because that's sort of gold gilded and very Renaissance. I find this to be completely correct in terms of there is a Byzantine quality to it. And it's almost like it's existed behind a gold mirror or something. It's just stunning. It's breathtaking. To me, it's breathtaking. And the way he's done it at the back, it's like shafts of light are coming and dancing off the gold. Like in some places, the lily backs, I think they're lily backs, are brighter than others. And that's how it looks. It looks like you're sort of looking through a mirror that's quite got golden flecks on it. I mean, tarot is a mirror of the soul. I just find this absolutely, and the aqua, the colours are, I don't know if they're coming across on screen, especially today, because I'm getting some shadow here that if I move more this way, I'm not sure if it is better, but there's got a bit of shine there, so I'm trying to get this where there's no glare. Is it better there? I don't know. I won't go into it too much, but and there's his beautiful edging and the backs. I don't know if he's doing a reprint. I know he didn't have any to sell there, and I will be using this deck. And look at this gorgeous box. That's not a QR code, by the way. Just stunning. Just the way these decks are manufactured and the way they look. And of course, we don't really need books with these decks. In fact, Marco did go into the fact that earlier on in his career, that in his non-hotel career, in his actual tarot career, that US Games had asked him to create books and things with some of the decks, and he just wasn't so much into that, so he sort of let that go. Okay, so let's go into another deck that we got from Marco. This is actually a gift to me. This was a gift, which I absolutely adored because I didn't know anything about it. And it's called the Alouette, right? So the Alouette is published by Grimoire in Paris in the 1600s, I think mid-1600s. Sorry, my bad, 1800s, 1858 to 1890. They're the dates I've got, so apologies for that. Grimoire, we know them. Here's the deck I've got. I've got the Horoscope Berlin from Grimoire. I mean, they are a very famous deck. Here's that. This is the Horoscope Berlin. It's very 60s. Just a quick, it has that Marco feel about it, as in the Visconti that he recreated. This is very vintage. It's a vintage one. I'll leave it. But Grimoire is a very, as we all know, a very famous card creator. And of course, is a publisher of many decks that we all love. I won't go into all that. But here's the Alouette deck. Right? So 1858, 1890, which I'm sure he's probably got. Again, this beautiful box. And again, the cardstock, amazing. sort of papery, linen-y. I can't describe it to you. It has texture. It's not a full deck. It's, I think, 60 something cards. I don't know much about it, to be honest, but of course you can always read with it because it's, you know, it's in that pip tradition. I'll go underneath. Go in the middle as well. And what I like about it is it's got little arrows, so you know if you do reversals. But were reversals happening at that time? I don't know. I really don't. Did people read reversals? Do people even read reversals now? I mean, I tend to read positionally, so it depends on where the card is. It tells me whether it's in sort of detriment or whether it's exalted in terms of its meaning. Everyone reads their own way. I do notice if it falls reversed, but I won't necessarily always read it reversed. This is unbelievable. And this will come back into play with Eliphas Levi as well. And Eliphas Levi, I don't know where the whole reversal tradition really started. Because some of these decks are sort of repeated in a deck that I'll show you now after. But look at these blues and these reds, and the quality is second to none. I don't think I've got any other decks with this type of quality, and they shuffle like a dream. Like there's no... Beautiful. So that's the Alouette. But one of the other decks that, of course, I did want to buy was, and I did buy, was this gorgeous, Eliphas Levi deck, which is the recreation here, reproduction from Marco Benedetti. This is 1950. 2025, and of course Marco gets permissions from the museums to reproduce these decks. This one does have a book, speaking of book issues, and I love it. It's in that cream coloured paper, again just a dream. The Universal Alphabet Tarot of Eliphas Levi. Eliphas Levi was an esoteric writer, really working in the mid-1800s. And I have a great quote from him that you may want to... I'll just try and get this out and then I'll talk about that while I show you some cards. So that's coming out of that sort of box there. So here it is, 1839, and I'll just read you the quote. An imprisoned person with no other book than the tarot, if he knows how to use it, could in a few years acquire universal knowledge and would be able to speak on all subjects with unequalled learning and inexhaustible eloquence. And yeah, why not? The tarot covers it all, I reckon. This is an unbelievable deck. Again, that beautiful. This one's a little bit more sort of not as papery as the others. It's got like some kind of a coating feel on it, but again, it has that beautiful, beautiful old world feel. I don't know, like it's real tarot, like it's not plastic. Look at this. Look at this face. Look at these cards. So it's a mixture of sort of tarot and I don't know exactly what. I'm going to try and sort of have a good read of it. But it's got like in it, it's got sort of like movements in music. Like it's got this style and then it sort of moves to this other style. And you're getting all this sort of symbolism and mysticism going through it. And I think you need to go through the book to understand it a little bit more. Look at the blue horse, honestly. And there's a lot of cards in this as well. And you can probably, if you do want to just read it traditionally, you can take away some of the esoteric cards and just keep it as a tarot. It's not exactly like a Minchiate. That's coming up because of those cards are quite strange. But I'm not sure. I haven't had the time to really study it and work with it or investigate it. But some of the cards are repeated from the Alouette and in here. They're very similar. And look at this blue. I mean, wow. I think he's just done an absolutely... It's just... Look at the death card. Look at the colour on the bones. Is him. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So I won't go into it too much, but again, it has that papery feel. It's monster size. I'm not edging any of Marco's decks. I'm so glad I got his edged version of the Constantinople, because they are papery, and I know for a fact that they bleed. And I just don't want to risk affecting. This is not, you know, this is his artwork, and I don't really want to put anything on it, to the point where even the one from Make Paying Cards, I didn't touch it. And I am getting some room in my bookshelf to put these decks in, because I think they need to be showcased as books. So I just put that back in here, and I think this book, Gwendal Boucher, so that's who wrote it. Just fascinating. And Levy's fascinating in himself, let's face it. I mean, when you read his writings, I mean, he's a fascinating writer, and this is his sort of personal tarot that he created for himself that got recreated. So that's that. And I think the final one I want to show you today is the Minchiate, which my husband wanted as a gift to me. So we were there together, sort of meeting Marco, and I was already over the moon with what I had, but now I had this as well. So here we are, the Silesio Minchiate. I think they were also printers of playing cards like Grimaud, and in the north of Italy, and I think this was produced in the 1930s by them. And we all know the Minchiate has the 90-something cards. Again, that's the beautiful box. And the additionals are, normally the additionals with the Minchiate are astrological and also the elements. So, 1774. So this is you know, obviously the Silesio family in Genoa reproduced this, I think, in the 1930s. And it's not in any order, because I did have a flick through it. I have had, of course I have. I haven't got... I've got the impatience of the devil, not the patience of a saint when it comes to new decks. I've got to look at them. Again, beautiful. Look at that blue. It's like cornflower or duck egg. I don't know what you call that. And stunning. Look at the borders. Look at the lovers. I mean, temperance. You don't even need titles, obviously, but you've got the numbering anyway. that to me is justice. So we're sitting with the justice at 8 rather than the occult 11. Although that's the Wheel of Fortune sitting at 9, not 10. And 10 seems to be the Chariot, to be honest. Which was 7 here. There's still a bit of a mystery, but anyone that has Minchiata can go through these. And I will do another little series on, I have got interesting Minchiata decks, I've got to say. I mean, this is another interesting one I have as well, if it's here, which it may not be. Everything's not where I want it to. Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm moving them. So this is another Minchiata deck I have that I received from the US. This was also handmade, but it's smaller. But it's in the real tradition, like Marco's. I've written on it with pencil, but I'm going to take all that off. But it's just not comparable if you touch it. But this is something Hall was the creator. I mean, if we go through they're the backs. I'm not sure where I got that deck from at this present time, but if I do a show on it or YouTube, I will go through where I got it from. But I also got Brian Williams's book and Minchiata, so I can study it properly, because I think he's the only person that's really done a real rundown of explaining it. And they're the virtues as well. Like we have the virtues that come into play, prudence, etc. And here we are with the astrologicals. Just the colours on this, and when you touch it, I can't explain it to you. Really, if you ever want historical decks, and I say this in, you know, I'm not sure who I'd trust more than Marco to create these beautiful, beautiful decks. Gemini, I'd say that's Gemini. Look at the red on this, honestly. It's to die for. I mean, I do. And look, there is also this other, I've got this as well here. This other deck creator here. Right? And these are also gorgeous. Not historical. This is not historical, but this is just major arcana. Beautiful feel, and has that old world feel. But even when you compare, and beautiful packaging, by the way. But even when you compare him to Marco's, his paper is like, I don't know what's going on. It's just, there's nothing to me that even comes close to the feel of this. And the fact is, it's hardy, you can use it. And he wants us to use them. That's what the other thing he told me, Libra. He said, I want people to use my decks. I don't want them to sit there like museum pieces, which is what I want to do. Like, we do want to use these decks. We do want to shuffle them, and we do want to use them. I'll lay out 3 cards here. Interesting. He says, I'll tell you who I am. How interesting. Use me honestly. Use me to reveal truths. There he is. The Roman soldier. That's what it looks like. Fight for the truth. And keep going forward. What a beautiful little threesome of cards. Keep going forward. Fight for the truth. But this is what the deck is. I'll keep persevering. I may not be in fashion much, but gorgeous, gorgeous. Gorgeous deck. And I think I just want to shuffle 3 of, I'll finish this with the Constantinople, which I absolutely adore. And look, I didn't want a very long video, and I didn't really, I'm not going into the history of the detail in any of the decks, because that's not my shtick, and I think a lot of other readers would do that, or tarot historians would do that far better than I could with those decks. But again, I'll just show you. I mean, he wants us to use them, right? I don't riffle shuffle. One, my hands are very small and it's just too much. I can't. But the other thing is also, I think it's very harsh on cards. So I overhand always. Let's have a look for all the people who like the images rather than the... Let's see what comes out. And I always lay them flat like that. Back side down. So the backs are always important to me on cards because I always start here. Let's just do a cross. Slow day, energy of the day. Love it. What to embrace. Queen of Patience, steady, earth energy. It's pouring with rain, absolutely pouring with rain. Maybe what to release. See that when that happens, I still put it, I can't read cards upside down. I still put it upright, but I did see that, you know, temperance means just stay in balance. Maybe I'll have a glass of wine. And, of course, the overriding energy is the devil. How lovely, right? Don't drink too much. That's the final comment of the day, maybe. Just have a couple of glasses of nice red wine. Don't drink too much, and be careful. But I don't know what to say on that. I think it's gorgeous, but I hope you've had the time. I just want to thank you for the time you've taken to watch this video. And of course, if you want detailed walkthroughs, there's so many cards in each deck, especially the Mikiar deck, especially the Eliphas Levi, even the Metalli's Massive. Like, let me know, and I can, you know, give some proper time and showcase every single, do a proper sort of walkthrough. And we may do a walkthrough with no commentary, just a quiet walkthrough. If you do want to see the cards. I'm not sure how many people have these cards and these decks. I know there's the usual ones, but thank you for your time today, and until next time.